Are you a comic fan, my friend?
Yes.
I see that twice. See, it's okay. No. It's all good because
Consistency.
we have stuff for you, my friend. And I want you to be aware. It's gonna get amazing.
Woo!
Yeah. All right, but no. First off, let's jump into Moneypenny, James Bond's Moneypenny, in her own one shot. Now, the Moneypenny character, anyone who doesn't know, has for a long time been the secretary to M, James Bond's boss and the head of MI6 in the Bond universe. And it wasn't until the last couple Bond movies that they started really fleshing out the character.
Giving her actually something to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Other than be hit on by Bond.
That was the long-standing run of the character. The definition of Moneypenny was the really thirsty office chick that James Bond teased but never really got with. I feel like he threw one or two.
It's suggested for sure. You never really get that satisfaction of knowing, but you definitely felt that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely in the past few Bonds, she was actually a field agent for a little bit, and before she was his office mate.
I like that dude because before she was just like the thought that's behind the desk.
Right.
This dude comes in and plays with it every now and then, but it was kind of. It's a good character to have once or twice for comedic purposes. When we consider the woman herself, it's really just like a base, almost nothing character.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and now she's become more of like a prominent, powerful female figure, which is tight. This book goes out of its way to emphasize that, which I actually really liked.
Yeah, and it definitely goes from... It bounces back from like then and now, like from current time to like her training and everything like that. So it gives her definitely a wider berth in terms of like her character. So you get to pick up a bunch about her.
Believe it or not, that style of storytelling actually almost turned me off to it because that confused me a little bit. Because I'm like, we're learning about this character, but we know this character. I kind of just want to see her in action already.
Okay.
And what they did was they're showing her. It's like now she's in the field. Cool, we're starting off on that point. Some stuff's going to go down, or we're going to establish a solid story, and we're skipping all the early stage BS. Nope, then it flashes back to her being a child for some reason. And I'm thinking this is going to develop into something later on, and it's going to make a lot more sense. Then I just have to keep reading. They never go back to it.
It's like, no, she's just a kid.
Yeah.
Once.
As best as I can figure, this would be if they're painting her personality type for a character we know nothing about. But because we know the character, they're probably figuring we'll throw this in the background and they'll see, oh, I guess this is where she came from, and then flash back to the movies and the lines she had there, the exchanges she had there, and the relationship she had there. But what if I've never seen her in the movies? Right. What if I've only seen the Sean Connery and Pierce Brosnan and James Bond? I would have no idea this character does anything come out from behind the desk. I wouldn't even know why she's black. So it's like it's relying too much on having that foreknowledge, which, to be fair, a lot of people will have going in.
Well, she basically killed Bond in the last movie, didn't she?
But don't they always kill Bond?
Kind of. Yeah.
Bond has died at least 17 times.
And those are just from STDs.
Oh, dude. No one has survived more burning crotch than James Bond. In fact, we should test his blood, man. I'm pretty sure he's got the cure for AIDS.
Yeah, whatever's inflicting the world now, he's probably got the cure for it anyway in his blood.
Gonorrhea, HPV, athlete's foot, you name it, Bond's got the cure in his DNA. We got to get down with that. But all right, back to this actual story of a character that's completely not unrelated, but was not involved in this book. Writer Jody Hauser and new artist Jacob Edgar approach a new character and a new mission involving Moneypenny, friend of James Bond, former MI6 field agent and bodyguard of M. Right there, they're already expanding the character. Moneypenny was always M's secretary and only the secretary. And this one, they've expanded it to M as a protected figure. And Moneypenny is the one who not just mans the desk, but also watches his back. Is there in kind of like a covert role of, it seems like she's just an office worker, but she's actually the one with the eagle eye on the big boss at all times.
Because she's definitely the most trusted person in that role. Yeah.
You know what? That actually, I thought they would have a hard time working into why she's been behind the desk this whole time and why that's the only role we've known her in.
Mm-hmm.
And they really did their best to make that make more sense.
No, it's definitely addressed, which was good, too, because you're kind of like, well, what the hell are you going to explain this?
Well, the movies kind of glossed over it. In the movies, it's, at least to me, my interpretation of her role in the movies was she was a field agent, she was green, she got into a lot of stuff early on, and then her choosing to be behind the desk was just her saying, I need a bit more of a more or less action-oriented role. but still within this organization.
Right.
And it seemed like someone who was maybe shell-shocked and taking on early retirement. This made it more legitimate. This made it more of a story I want to hear.
Yes.
Yeah, which I did like, dude. I think it's safe to say I did like this book. My one of my major complaints is that it was really short. It was sold as a one-shot, but it's a one-shot that's written as if it's going to be an ongoing series, and I think that's pretty presumptuous at this point.
Which it may. I would definitely read more for sure.
I would love it if it did, but if you're gonna paint yourself as a one-shot, have a story that has like a bunch of things happening. You know, this painted backstory of a character that we already kind of knew, and then didn't really take it to that many places. You know,
yeah,
it's
definitely
a one shot, and she goes on what looked to me like half a mission.
It definitely needed to come to a more definite conclusion as well.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Also, since they painted her as a badass and an agent who's aware of all stuff, who can kick ass, take names, blow cats away, she's sniping with a handgun. Like, what the? But that was dope. I wanted more of that. I wanted so much more. And there is action in this, but nowhere near as much as you'd expect from a James Bond title. Any related character in there still carries the name and reputation in the universe of James Bond, and it's written a lot like, if you're familiar with this, not many people will, I hope I don't lose too much of the audience, but it's written like one of the old school Ian Fleming books, where characters were more realistic, less superheroic, as James Bond has become in the films, and it took more time to develop story and establish characters, and then work in background stuff. It was espionage books.
Well, that's what I think this Daniel Craig run has kind of tried to bring back, because definitely like the Pierce Brosnan run was like invisible cars, ice mansions, and things like that. And you're like, this is just absolutely ridiculous. You know, it totally got away from anything that Bond should have been.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely good to see the Daniel Craig run where it's kind of more gritty, true to life. And so I think this book is definitely kind of running in that same thing. So
I did notice she also used the Walther PPK.
Yes.
Yeah. But dude, okay,
they got a choice, obviously.
Well, this bugged me. It's a James Bond universe book. She's working for MI6, protecting M himself. No gadgets. She didn't have like a watch with garrote wire or anything, you know, none of the most basic stuff.
Not even a radio.
Not even a radio. That seemed like a failing, though, because it takes place today, and there was no like real communication device. They have to find a cell phone on a dead guy.
Could have had a fog machine and something. You know what I mean? Like a laptop or something.
Exactly. I want to see like some ball bearings or jacks fall at the back of her shoe, so if she's being chased, somebody like steps on some spikes.
A bunch of matchbox, fall out of the back of her heels.
Oil slick.
Yep. Yeah. Out of her stilettos. Sure. Something.
These are golden ideas. Why weren't they used? Oh,
we should write our own book. This is what's going on.
She throws an earring. It turns out to be a grenade. Dude, okay. If any of these ideas show up in the next issue, if they do a follow up, I want royalties.
Yeah,
we're saying it first, okay? This is on September 4th, 2017. I want to see my residuals. All right, but the book is called James Bond: Moneypenny, and it's by Dynamite Comics. It's a one shot only for now, but I mean it's available online. And you can find it at your local comic shop. You may have to request it if it's a more popular shop, if your regular subscription box is like a Newberry Comics or something. And if it is, why? But I think it's definitely worth a read at least. It's called James Bond: Moneypenny. I recommend it. Adam?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's good to see Moneypenny get some due. You know?
Moneypenny get some due instead of just trying to get some due. Well, anyways, it's written by Jody Houser, too. This is just a side note. Jody Houser, I've read a couple more things by her. And she's a writer who, her work isn't blatantly feminist, but she goes out of her way to write more realistic female characters, which is interesting. It was new to see. There's another book, I forget the name of it. It was about this not necessarily superhero team, but a team of specialists that had a couple metahumans on it. You know, and one of them is like this fat woman. You know, who how many times do you see a fat field agent?
You don't.
I just thought that was poignant.
There's a good one-off joke in this one too, where she says something to somebody. She's like, "What do you expect me to smile next?" Or asking me to smile next. It's like that's what every woman gets. You know what I mean? Why do you smile more?
The dude that tried to hit on her on the plane.
Why do you smile more? It's like, that's just addressing that can of guy. It was just so perfect too. Yeah, so it's coming from someone with experience. Obviously, who had to write that. Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
All right. Well, the writer's Jody Houser. The book is called James Bond: Moneypenny. dude, I recommend checking it out. It receives our seal of approval. If you have anything to say on the book, maybe you've read it, you want to check it out, you want to give us some inside information, whatnot, hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com. Or, I mean, dude, we're on Twitch. You can chime in and jump into the chat, or look up the video on YouTube, leave a comment there. Let us know what's going down, what's good. All right, now. Oh, boy. Adam, my friend.
Mm-hmm.